Hello everyone. Today I bring you the time lapse of Inktober or Drawlloween Day 10. And before we start, I'm showing you here a sneak peek in my sketchbook till the day we're in, which is day 10. I'm sorry, I'm a bit late uploading this. So you can see all my PCs from day 1 to day 10. Just a little sneak peek. You can find them all in my Instagram if you want to take a closer look of them all. I'll leave a link down below. And well, let's start with the illustration and with the topic of discussion for today, which is how to keep your Inktober or Drawlloween cohesive and, well, without limiting yourself too much. So I thought of talking about this because for the last years I've been doing it, I've always tried to keep it cohesive. I've always liked it when I scroll down someone's gallery and I find they all have a particular style, cohesive style, and I find like that's very pleasing to watch. But maybe it's not that easy to get if you don't really think about it. So I would like to talk a bit about this, and it's not really hard to get a cohesive Inktober Drawlloween style. You just have to put yourself a few patterns to follow. So I'm gonna talk a bit about that. First, I will say choose a medium and stick with it. And this is very important because if you see someone that's doing digital one day and another day is just a pencil sketch and then the other day is, I don't know, ink, it might look cool anyway, and if you don't have time it's completely alright, but if you do have time and if you want to keep it cohesive and have a beautiful body of work to show or for your Instagram feed or for your YouTube pulse or whatever, I believe it's better to choose and limit yourself to one medium or a few mediums. I don't know, it just depends on your style. It's not a rule, but if you usually work with watercolors and inks, then stick with that, for example. In my case, I decided to choose markers. Why? Because I'm not very used to work with my markers, but I know you can get very cool effects working with them, and they're not too elaborate to work with. I mean, you can make an illustration quite quickly without much effort because markers are quite quick to work with, and especially I have an A5 sketchbook for this challenge, so I could easily fill up my illustrations even if I don't have much time. So for example, I chose markers and ink, as I was saying, and I always love to ink my drawings, and I believe that with markers it's quite like a must. But yeah, I really like inking and I pay so much attention to it. I believe it's very important. So yeah, I could say I've chose ink and markers, but I did add some days a few touches with pencil, or one day I added a bit of highlights with acrylics because I didn't like how the lightning came out. So it's fine if you add something else, but try not to change too much the look of your illustration. So that was tip 1, to use a medium and stick with it. And for tip 2, I will say pick something to do as a regular thing, as a cohesive thing. This might sound difficult, but it's really not. For example, I chose to draw girls. Why? Because I like to draw girls. I almost always draw girls. And I decided, why not? Let's just limit myself to girls. Even if it's Frankenstein, I will draw his bride. Or whatever. Just try to change the gender and make girls all the time. So that was, for example, one thing to keep my Inktober Drawlloween cohesive. But I also this I really didn't decide it, but I started saying it while I was going. I make really unique hairs. Like hairs are usually um, something very important in the picture. They are colorful, or they are very, I don't know, long, or they are really there's really a cool hairstyle in there. So there's always, a cool hairstyle, a cool thing to look at the hair. And this I didn't really choose, but the first illustrations came out with so much attention to hair, because I love to draw hair, that people start saying, "Oh wow, that hair is gorgeous. I love the hair." And with that, I said, "Alright, then I'm gonna keep the hair theme." So sometimes you don't really see a second or third theme until you're on with it, because you tend to stick with it. So yeah, that will be mainly it. If you choose a medium and stick with it, and if you pick something you like to stick with it, it should be easy for you to get something cohesive without really getting too much into it. I mean, you're not really thinking very hard of a theme to stick with, or you're not really paying attention too much of your composition or something. You're just trying to stick with some basics. So yeah, if you're doing Inktober and not Drawlloween, so you don't have that much freedom to choose from, you still have liquid inks, the ones that come in a tiny bottle, so you can use those with brushes or filling up brush markers or these brushes with containers, I believe. They're called something like pen brushes. Or you can use ink pens, as I do for my inking, or there's another brush ink pens, then you can get something very cool with that. So you can still pick, even if you're doing that. And with inks you have several styles you can follow, so if you just look it up, you can try several styles to just keep your theme more cohesive if you want. And well, I believe that's all. That's very basics, as you might see. It's not really, I just wanted to let you know that it's not really complicated to get a cohesive thing going on. So my Bad Girl's done. It's not really one of my favorites, but well, it's fine. Not all the days will be perfect, but you will have her and the rest of my Drawlloween girls up for sale in my Etsy shop, and probably I'll put prints and merchandise of them in my Society 6. So if you look there and they aren't there already, you can message me about them. So I hope you find this useful, and if you did, please leave me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I hope you liked the video. Bye!